Anthony's walking home from school. It's rather cold outside and he's got a long ways to go. They don't live that close to school. Other parents drop their kids off and pick their kids up, but Anthony's mom has to work. She has to work late and he doesn't have a father. So he walks all the way home. He gets to his apartment and there's a pink piece of paper taped onto the door. They're getting evicted again. So he goes in. He knows his mom's not going to be home until after dinner, but he instinctively just starts packing up. This is the norm. Sometimes people get evicted. While he's packing up his room, a businessman knocks on the door dressed in a fancy suit and asks to speak to his mom. Tells her that mom won't come home later until after dinner, and he just knows this is the property owner. This is the person who's kicking them out. This fancy suited man drives off in his fancy sports car. Later that night, his mom tells him that people like that, all they care about is money. Wendy, she's making dinner for herself and her two brothers again. This has become very normal for her. She's taken on this role of a parent, kind of. Both of her parents work well into the evening. Her mom tends to get home first. Dad doesn't get home till 8, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock. They're both working all the time. Wendy doesn't like taking on this pseudo-parenting role at times, but she gets it. She understands. She knows why her parents are working. They're working so they can bring in more money. Sometimes her mom will get home in time for dinner. Mom makes dinner. That feels really good for a moment, but then she worries a little bit. She thinks to herself, what do you do? Shouldn't we be making money? I'm not sure if we have enough money. Samantha's excited to talk to her dad. She worked on a science project all into the night last night, presented it today, did a fantastic job, knocked it out of the park. Everybody praised her. Teacher praised her. Her friend said it was such a great job. She's excited. Dad's car rolls up in the driveway. She rushes out to meet him, but he doesn't have time to talk. He goes into the trunk. He grabs Christmas decorations. He grabs lights. He grabs blow up things. He's grabbing lasers. He's got tinsel. He's got all kinds of different things, and he gets to work on his house. Samantha's dad is known as the person in the neighborhood that has the best stuff, and that includes these Christmas decorations. Unfortunately for Dad, a couple of people in the neighborhood put up fancier displays this year than he can't be outdone. So he has to one up everybody. Samantha doesn't like it because she doesn't get to talk to her dad. She doesn't get to feel his pride or have him be proud of her. Unfortunately, this is something that she's familiar with. Her dad is always putting this kind of stuff ahead of the family. He has to be the family with the best Christmas decorations. He has to be the person with the best house and the best cars in the garage. If a neighbor puts an addition on it, he puts an addition on it. He's always trying to be the best neighbor in that neighborhood. Speaking of Christmas, Victor's afraid to go to school. It's the first day back after Christmas break. Now, Victor comes from a wealthy family. He kind of knows that, as much as he can know. But every time after Christmas he goes to school, his friends are getting fancy Christmas gifts. Some of them get video game systems. Some of them get golf clubs or bikes. Or some of them get fancy electronics. He barely gets anything for Christmas. It's hard for him to reconcile the fact that his parents make more money than most people, but his gifts often suck. The message that he gets from this is that it's stupid to spend your money, and it's even stupider to spend your money on things that are going to be outdated soon. Now, these 4 children are going to grow up with beliefs about money, wildly different beliefs from each other, wildly different views about money than you or I have. Their minds are like little sponges soaking up everything that's going on around them, trying to piece together how the world works, and in their bubble, they think they figured out how the world works. And as a result, their money scripts were born. Find out more about money scripts and childhood right after this. Hey, it's Derek Hagan, financial therapist, here with another Money Health presentation where we're going to talk about money scripts and childhood and the relationship between those two. So money scripts are subconscious beliefs that we have We don't know we have them, and they're buried deep in the back of our brains, and they drive all of our behaviors. Every financial decision we make or don't make, every belief we have about what money is supposed to do, what it's not supposed to do, or what we should expect out of money, those are driven by money scripts. And money scripts are at the foundation of our financial lives. All of our financial behaviors rest on a foundation of money scripts. So it makes sense to understand where they come from. And money scripts, they're mostly bred out of childhood experiences. That's when we're piecing together how the world works. We all have different upbringings. We all learn different things. Even objective things about what money is, we pick those up differently. And that's what these money scripts come in, or that's how these money scripts come into play. So our little minds, we're trying to piece together how things work, creating little if-then statements about how the world of money works. How does this universe operate? I might make one little rule and then test it or observe later. That actually worked. That one actually makes some sense. Oh, that one didn't work. Why might it not work? Let me recalibrate. In a sense, we're like little scientists. And we piece together these little rules that are kind of like hypotheses. And then we test them. And the ones that seem to be working over and over again, those get solidified. Those become the theory. So the proven hypothesis becomes the theory. The proven little belief about money becomes our money script. And we operate on these things. And when we're young, we're learning these experiences, but they come to us in two different ways. We got our direct lessons. And a direct lesson is something that you learned straight up about money. It could be personal finance education, but let's be honest, in the United States, most of us don't get that. But it could be direct lessons. Somebody told you, son, you can't trust your money to other people. You can't trust other people around money. Or, listen, daughter, money should be saved and not spent. It could be, you deserve to spend money. It's only money. It's only money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Direct lessons that we get are spoken directly to us. Sometimes even those are open for interpretation. Like, what does money doesn't grow on trees actually mean? It's up to us to interpret that. But we do get some direct lessons. You should always save your money. Here's how you save your money. Here's what percentage you should give, save, and spend. Most of our lessons are indirect. And that's not as clear what kind of money script those are going to create. Indirect lessons come from observing what is and isn't happening and seeing if it's good or bad things that happen. Indirect lessons is when we're testing and we don't want to get in trouble, so we figure out what to do and what not to do. Now, it's not predictable because two people growing up in the same environment can grow up to have totally different beliefs about money, totally different set of money scripts. One child might come out of that situation and say, well, this is what I know, so this is what I'm going to do. Whereas the sibling, could even be a twin, could come out of that same situation and say, I'm not going to do that. So these are the lessons that we're soaking in when we're growing up. Now, you inherited your family's beliefs. They're generational. That means that, just like you're soaking up all that information and creating money scripts, well, each of your parents did that. So you learned a great deal from your parents, but each of your parents learned a great deal from their parents. And we could go up even more generations from here. So your paternal grandparents, they had one set of beliefs, and those got passed down to your dad. And your maternal grandparents had a different set of beliefs, and those got passed down to your mom. And then those kind of combined, and those got fed down to you. But these beliefs are generational. Family, this is what we know. And these could be direct lessons. But remember, direct lessons, somewhere up that family tree, are indirect lessons. So your direct lesson of don't trust other people with money came from one ancestor's indirect lesson that you don't trust people around money. So these things go from generation to generation, and that necessarily means that if you have kids, or when you have kids, they're going to be learning from you. You're going to be giving your money scripts to them as well. Now, this is the child's understanding of reality versus reality. You can't see this, but this is supposed to be two circles. This circle representing reality. But children don't understand adult reality. They can't. Their minds aren't mature enough yet. So what they're left to do is to see what happened in this reality and interpret it into their little view of the world. And as a result, some of that circle exists. They have some of that reality, but there are some missing pieces. Like they don't know everything. And they see some things work, and they see it work in some particular context, even though that's not part of reality. So there's some additional pieces around there. We are not good, so we observe the world and how it works, but we have mature minds, so we're not likely to piece together things correctly. Even if we perfectly saw reality, we only have one version of reality. We only have a sample size of one. We only get to see our family system when we're growing up, including everything that comes with that, the social media, the media, newspapers, TV shows. Like that is feeding our money scripts as well. But we don't get to see how our neighbors are taught, or somebody across the country is taught, or somebody in a different country is taught. We only know one set. So even if we get it right, which we're not likely to do, we only have one version of how money works. Now, these get reinforced. They're contextual. They work sometimes. So here's the things that work, and here's your money scripts. Now, sometimes they work. Now, pay no attention to how much overlap there is. This just means that some things work and you have money scripts. Now, sometimes those money scripts work, even if they're dysfunctional. Okay, so you might have heard the statement, a broken clock is right 2 times per day. Accidentally, a blind squirrel can find a nut. Accidentally. Dysfunctional money scripts can work accidentally. So for example, let's say you have the money script, you shouldn't trust other people with money. Now that's a dysfunctional money script because it doesn't apply to everybody. A more accurate one might be you should be cautious with who you trust, or you can't trust some people with money, but you can't trust anybody with your money. That's a dysfunctional belief. That's the money script. But what if some con man comes up to you and tries to swindle you out of your money, sell you some get-rich-quick scheme? You didn't trust that person. Remember, you got this money script that says you shouldn't trust people with your money. So guess what? That money script actually worked. And when it works, you're going to say, see, I told you. I told you you're not supposed to spend or trust other people with your money. So when it works, it gets stronger because it gets reinforced. Now we're making that money script even stronger, and then we go into business with somebody that we're not going to trust. We're not going to go to a financial planner or an accountant because we're not going to trust them with our money. We're not going to trust our boss or coworkers with money or our spouse because we have this belief that worked sometimes, but doesn't work in all those situations. So just understand that you have these money scripts and they come from childhood. And when you can uncover what those are, learn about what they are, just know that you have them. Then you can start to challenge some of those beliefs that you have. You can start to make decisions more intentionally and consciously instead of subconsciously with those hidden money scripts. Do that, and that's good money health.